Hello, Northern Lehigh families. This is Mr. Pine, Director of Educational Technology, Curriculum, and Instruction, and I would like to open by extending my hope and wish that you're all having a wonderful start to the 2024-25 school year. Unless this is your first year with us, in which case a special welcome to you, then you probably have noticed that we have made a shift in our ELA programming for grades K through 6. This change promises to be an exciting one, and with a few weeks under our belt, I wanted to share a little information about the programs Amplify CKLA and ELA. In this video, I'll explore some key ideas that guide the Amplify design, why we chose them, and how they'll benefit your child's learning. For a little context, the research base and principles that have guided this are not new. However, it has unfortunately taken far too long for them to transcend the academic world and be converted into usable, structured programming for schools. Let's start with Scarborough's reading rope, a model developed almost 25 years ago to explain what we now know to be the components necessary to become a good reader. When I say necessary, I mean necessary, each one of them. On this slide is a visual that helps explain how skilled reading develops over time. The rope is made up of two strands, one for word recognition and another for language comprehension. Each strand, while initially separated, weaves together to strengthen a child's reading ability. Amplify CKLA is designed with this in mind, systematically teaching both the skills students need to recognize words and the language comprehension skills required to understand and analyze texts. By focusing on both, initially in two parts of ELA instruction in grades K through 2, in an extended grade 3 component, and then later merged into a cohesive ELA block for grades 4 through 5 with Amplify ELA, similar to that. We help students become not just good readers, but great readers. To their credit, in 2019, our Peters Elementary team recognized a growing need for phonics instruction and phonemic awareness, especially in the early grades. That's when we adopted the Haggerty Phonics program to give students explicit, systematic instruction in phonemic awareness. This was a key first step in ensuring students could understand the relationships between sounds and letters, which is essential for reading success. Through ongoing training, our teachers became experts in delivering high-quality phonics instruction, setting the stage for a successful transition to our new CKLA program, which builds upon these phonics foundations. While Amplify strategically addresses each thread in Scarborough's rope, the baseball study is an important 1988 research study that informs Amplify CKLA's knowledge-based approach. This study showed that a student's ability to comprehend a text isn't just about their reading level, it's about their background knowledge. In the study, students who knew more about baseball, regardless of their reading ability, did better on a reading comprehension test about baseball than students with higher reading skills but less knowledge about the game. This tells us that building knowledge across various subjects is crucial for reading success, not just focusing on reading skills alone. Amplify CKLA works to build this content knowledge as a key component of learning to read. To do this, Amplify has 3 pillars in their design of knowledge-based curriculum that make them unique. And those content areas include literature, science, history, and the arts, and with topics and vocabulary connecting within and across grades in a coherent way, meaning everything is designed to fit together to ensure continuity and avoid repetition or gaps. CKLA Amplify takes the approach of systematically building knowledge over time, as you can see here on this slide. It's not just about learning letters and sounds in isolation. This program weaves together foundational literacy skills with content-rich knowledge that grows in complexity from year to year. The structure is cumulative and coherent, meaning that what students learn in one grade sets them up for success in the next. The program ensures that every child is mastering both the skills and the knowledge they need to be confident, proficient readers. As a result, one thing that we've heard we should expect and that you should expect as families is that your children will be talking excitedly about the topics they're learning in class when they get home. Ask them about what they're learning and see them light up. Here In the knowledge building K through 8 map, you can see how the core areas of literature, science, and history are woven across the grade levels with intentional opportunities for students to experience the excitement of bringing prior knowledge into new learning. To trace it, just follow the blue, green, or orange highlighted and circled sections within each grade level, which will show you how one leads forward into the next. One of the exciting features of Amplify CKLA is the use of complex interactive read-alouds. This is one of the ways that students' understanding of language comprehension gets built before they can even read the text. These texts are often above grade level, which might seem counterintuitive, but they're crucial for helping students understand the structure and the sound of sophisticated written language, which we all know is different than the structure and the sound of typical spoken language. By listening to rich, complex texts, students get the chance to engage with new ideas and expand their vocabulary. They hear the rhythm of more advanced writing, which helps them become better readers and writers in the future. Here you can see two more examples of how intentionality plays a role with Amplify. The skills are sequenced and mapped out intentionally throughout the program. Writing is an integral part of Amplify CKLA. As students learn more about the world through their reading, they're given daily opportunities to write about what they've learned. This deepens their understanding and allows them to practice expressing their thoughts clearly. As the program widens and deepens students' knowledge of subjects, their writing becomes richer and more sophisticated, fulfilling the promise that better readers become better writers. Here you'll see a graphic that will demonstrate the writing process as it occurs in Amplify, which is nothing new. It's similar to other writing processes. But because of the explicit reading and instruction that they're getting in content areas, students will come into this process without having to overcome the barrier of knowing what to write about. They'll have plenty of content to share and discuss within their writing assignments. Finally, I'd like to talk briefly about why we chose Amplify CKLA for our district. Besides all the reasons outlined here in terms of our acknowledgement of its design early on, we carefully reviewed several programs, but CKLA stood out for its research-based design and the growing evidence of its success in schools across the country, which is outlined on this slide. We were so impressed that members of our team traveled up to 3 hours to visit districts around the state using CKLA. After seeing it in action and hearing from teachers and students in these school districts, we knew it was the right choice for our community. CKLA's ability to build both foundational reading skills and content knowledge is exactly what our students need to succeed. In closing, Amplify CKLA and Amplify ELA offer a balanced, research-driven approach to reading instruction that equips our children with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive. We're confident that this program will provide the foundation for a lifetime of reading success. Some things right off to expect, in case you have maybe not seen them already, is the first one that teachers would very much like me to convey, because this was new for them as well, that in the early stages of each year, there are fewer grades within the Amplify program, which if we think about logically just makes sense, that as we're beginning the year, assessing students, figuring out where they are, beginning just the reading, which oftentimes is making up for some summer slide, there will be fewer grades. This may mean that we're going to continue to work through what impact that has on the way that we've traditionally approached grading. Expect more conversations about what your student has learned coming home with them. So I hope that's a welcome thing. I know with 2 daughters of my own who are now in college or just about finishing high school, I loved when they came home and talked in an animated way about what they learned in school. Expect more frequent and fluent use of advanced vocabulary about studied topics. One of the takeaways from the districts that we've talked to is that students will begin using vocab words that we're not accustomed to hearing out of the mouths of 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. So expect that. Expect your student to be engaging in more writing about topics but while being prepared and engaged in that writing. And this I can say in my walkthroughs around the classrooms. Already in September, I've seen whole classes of students without one complaining, and every student bent over their paper, writing, erasing, revising, rereading, and taking pride in that work. Expect a greater desire to read about specific topics of interest related to classroom learning. So one of the things that we expect, again, and we've learned, is that we're going to have to begin preparing for our library, and then perhaps even for our public libraries, to know that these topics are being addressed because students continue to want to expand their knowledge about them beyond what they learn within the classroom. And then last, we are still working through what all of this means and expect to continue to do so throughout this year, but there will be a change in our intervention systems as we move in with Amplify's DIBELS 8 and M-Class intervention, and the way that time is used during WIN in order to make more strategic database decisions about what students need and how to get it to them. So it's a change, but certainly an improvement. So I want you to thank you for sticking with me for what now is about 11 minutes for this presentation or this overview. I do want to share with you that later in October, as indicated in the email, we will be having a literacy night for Northern Lehigh School District, which should be a great interactive program where we're going to get perspectives on what we're seeing in the classroom, what the program looks like, and then have a panel to be able to answer and discuss some questions from the audience. I invite you to join that, as well as check out the NLSD Literacy Webpage, which was also linked in the email with this presentation. Thank you. Have a great 2024-25 school year.